Oh, I've read so much failure stories that I became scared of it. And not really failure stories, but the involvement of time that it takes to run a successful Kickstarter. I realized that Kickstarter is not for those products that are quite boring, like a regular bag. It has to be something unique about it, some novelty with it. That's when good Kickstarters work. And what I realized from a lot of research is that you have to have an audience already built up before you're going to run Kickstarter. Otherwise, you're not going to get your initial sales, and then, you're not going to be boosted by Kickstarter, and then it's not going to really work out. Plus, I didn't like that I have to, I don't know, it's like when you're running Kickstarter, there are expectations of manufacturing time and design completion. People pay for it, and then they expect in the date that you promised them to get it. But many, many Kickstarters that I participated in, well, I didn't create my own Kickstarter for my product, but I did sponsor a lot of them. And I find that many of them are late on your delivery dates because design process is not so easy. You just think and it's happening. You make a sample and, we have to make a new mold. Now there's this issue, and then you make again and again. And then actual manufacturing process gets delayed often. There's Chinese New Year, there's Christmas rush, there's like all these things playing in between. Plus the long shipping times, if you want to save on shipping and don't pay $10 per item, you'll pay $2 per item if you send by sea, right? By sea, it takes 2 months in a boat, until it comes slowly to your, and then until by pallet, 3 weeks more until it gets to Amazon warehouse. Then 1 week more until they check it in. It's like 6 months gone, And so I don't know, for Kickstarter, I wouldn't recommend doing it for beginners at all. I'd say only after about 1 year, once you have an established brand and then you have your audience and your pixels done, on your audience. So you already have people to work with who like your brand. Only then I would launch something like Kickstarter. Otherwise, it's really, really hard.
And I just did a meetup event on Kickstarter.com. I'm a huge fan of Kickstarter. I've launched a few successful Kickstarter campaigns in the e-commerce space, and then I use Kickstarter all the time for other things for my brick and mortar retail businesses. Like I want to redo the floor in my dance studios, or I want to get a live camera so people can see the dog grooming going on, or anything like that. So I'll creatively create Kickstarters. For the e-commerce side of things, I've used it successfully. Well, I feel like there's no such thing as an unsuccessful Kickstarter, first of all, because even if you don't fund it, you get the capital. I mean, you get the email list. You get the email list. You get all the contacts. They've already followed you on social media. Plus, these people want you to launch again so they can follow you, which makes the second one even better. My hack in e-commerce for Kickstarter is, and I stumbled across this just doing so many Kickstarters, is the more successful campaigns that you have under your belt, the stickier you become at the top of Kickstarter search, the more they want to promote your stuff. So what we'll do is, in a new brand or company, we'll run a Kickstarter and we'll fund it for like a really small amount for something service-based or digital, maybe a digital product video series on how to create really nice foam or a heart of foam on your coffee. And we want to give this out. So it might only be $500 to $1,000. But as soon as we successfully fund that on Kickstarter, it's going to be that much easier for us to pull off something significantly more expensive. And we stagger that up so that we're very sticky in the Kickstarter algorithm.
Interesting. So we do look at the history of you as a seller.
Yes. Yeah. You can see every person running a Kickstarter if they have any successful Kickstarters under their belt.
If you have a more innovative type product, unique type product, obviously the benefits of Kickstarter are that you can get your product cost funded ahead of time. So that's a huge advantage to doing Kickstarter. The downside is that if you don't know Kickstarter, and if you don't know how to do it right, you're going to put something up and you're not going to get any traffic to it. So Kickstarter is one of those things that has an algorithm, just like Amazon. And it's, again, one of those things where it loves speed. It loves to see not necessarily a lot of big donations or big contributions at once, but it likes to see a lot of people participating. So for example, if you're going to do a Kickstarter, you can have like $1 contribution to help the company and not get anything in return. But if you get a lot of people to just make that $1 contribution, if you get 300 people to make that $1 contribution, it's better than one person spending $300 on your Kickstarter product. So you want to be able to build an audience ahead of time for that Kickstarter. And then when you launch on day one, you just get a lot of people buying. And that's how you can get pushed up within the Kickstarter algorithm to have them show your Kickstarter project to more people in different areas on Kickstarter. So again, Kickstarter is something that requires a strategy. You need a really great video that tells the story of your product. So I think it requires preparation. I think it's harder than Amazon in terms of what it takes. But again, it has the advantages that you are getting an email list, you're getting a customer base, and of course, you're able to fund a product before you put any money behind it. So that's the advantage of Kickstarter, but it's kind of its own beast, outside of Amazon.
You seem like you know a lot about this. Have you run one, or have you researched of running one?
I know some people that have run one. I haven't run one myself, but I'm an equity partner in a company right now that is preparing a big Kickstarter launch. So just as an example, just to give you some idea, so the goal with this product is to do like $1 million in sales, but they have an ad budget of about $150,000 for Facebook ads for this product. So when I say you want to be prepared, and let's say your goal is not to do $1 million, but your goal is to do 50,000, you're still going to need, I would say somewhere around, they're looking to spend, 15%. So if you're looking to do 100,000, you're probably going to need to spend, 15, 20,000 just on ads to drive traffic, build an audience, and gain traction. So it's not one of those things that you could just, put something up unless you get lucky and you get something that goes viral and gets shared and you have a great video, but it's something you need to prepare for. So I'm kind of in the midst of watching. There's some other people in the company working on this, but the company just created a video with kind of the same strategy as Harmon Brothers. So if you look up the Harmon Brothers are the ones that have created the ads for Squatty Potty, for Poopery. Go look those ads up on YouTube. They're very entertaining and funny, and that's the kind of model of video that they're modeling to try to capture attention.
Or then there's things like Kickstarter, where if you have a new innovative idea and you want to kind of prove it to the market and you want to raise some money for it, you can use things like Kickstarter, Indiegogo. There's so many different ways that you can market.
A lot of brands do it really, really well. And there is a strategy and a structure and a pre-launch and running ads to get people onto an early bird list, and then letting that early bird list know when you launch, warming them up with content, and then telling them when you launch, so that when you launch, you've got a bunch of people who go and back it. So then it starts trending on the platform. There's you can look at podcasts. There's people who create content around that particular structure. The problem with crowdfunding is it's a very particular group. It's men 20 to 45 who are mostly interested in technology and sports and outdoor stuff. If you don't have a product that is for a dude, for lack of a better way to say this, and I know it has a negative connotation, a tech bro, if you don't have tech bro products, and I'm not anti-tech bro, I kind of fall into the category of tech bro, even though tech bro has a negative connotation. I'm a dude who's kind of broy, who's into tech. I'm not broy in the negative connotation of it, but whatever. Point is, if you don't have products for that category, crowdfunding is going to be difficult for you. So, I think it's a great medium. I think it takes as much energy, attention, strategy, sophistication as any other business model. I much prefer to invest my money into paid ads that are designed to get someone to buy something from me, because that is scalable into perpetuity. Kickstarters and things like that have a clear start-stop point, and then all the energy that you had for that kind of go away. I might, if I was doing it, run a crowdfunding campaign on my own website, collect the money myself, get rid of the third-party platform, especially if I wasn't selling to men. So yeah, that's what I think about it. I think it can be a really wonderful strategy. I have some people in my mastermind group who use it very effectively, but I think it is dictated by the audience. And if it's not to that particular audience, it's going to be tough to make it work.
Kickstarter is a great way to promote, and it's interesting that you ask that, because I think something that a lot of people are missing is that Kickstarter is becoming a marketing channel. Like one of my friends is Manish Sethi, who does Pavlok. It's this bracelet that shocks you and it's a cool little product. But he has repeatedly launched on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, and every time this guy makes hundreds of thousands of dollars like clockwork, and it's become his most reliable marketing channel. So I think Kickstarter and Indiegogo, if you are targeting either the artist side of that market or the early adopter side of that market, it's a great way to get access to those eyeballs when everything else is probably more expensive. So yeah, great question. I think Kickstarter is going to become a bigger and bigger marketing channel.
I love it in a lot of ways. Now, I've never done a crowdfunding campaign myself. I think, it was interesting. When it first came out, it was always about unique products. And then you'd see people doing Kickstarting campaigns, like literally for this mouse. Even though there's 863 of them on Amazon, someone's doing a Kickstarter and calling it unique. It was kind of like, it got a bit cheesy for a while, these Kickstarter campaigns. But there's so many people out there with so many great ideas and unique ideas as well. It's amazing. People are amazing at how clever and their level of ingenuity is just fantastic. But I still like Kickstarter a lot. The secret to success, and it's funny you asked me that, because we were recently approached by a crowdfunding company to create a course for them on press releases, because the value for them in helping their clients have a successful crowdfunding campaign comes in the groundwork 3 to 6 months before launch. And that's where they thought, we need our clients to build authority. So let's say I'm kickstarting this pen or crowdfunding this pen. Okay, great. Here I am. I'm just Shane Oglow sitting in my house. Do I have any sales history? Do I have any company history? Was I president of a big pen company? Like, do I have anything? No, I'm just some dude, right? As far as most people are concerned. And I have to convince those people to spend $50, and trust me that their $50 is going to, pay off or get them the product they want or whatever the reward is. So that's where press releases come in, where you can do a campaign for 6 months. You can build the authority. You can do press releases. You can point to the press releases. You've got all the high authority backlinks going to your page. You can show as seen on ABC. You can do all that stuff. You can build your content around it, because you should be building content. You should be talking about it, putting blog articles out, or commenting on other people's blogs on how you've created this better product or what problems it's going to solve or whatever you're talking about. And you can build that campaign, build that trust. So when you launch, you're not just some dude sitting in his mom's basement. You're never going to see your money again. You're a legitimate business.
A Kickstarter to get things started?
I think Kickstarter is awesome if you're good at making videos. I've never done it, but it seems like a great way to raise your first capital, especially if you have a unique product that needs money up front for molds and such. I think it's a great way to go about it for sure.
I think Kickstarter is important for newer ideas. People make the mistake, again, going back to Amazon, of trying to use Amazon almost as a Kickstarter, and that's never going to work. I could have, some amazing water bottle. This water bottle maybe could have, I don't know, an espresso maker on the side of it. Some new invention that's really cool, right? That might be so cool. Like I would love that myself, actually. But if I just throw that on Amazon, nobody's going to buy it, because nobody knows such technology exists. Nobody is searching blender bottle with espresso maker, because they don't know it exists. So in that case, that is perfect for like Kickstarter. Why? Because now Kickstarter does some of the work for you, puts out promotion for this, and now it's creating the demand. So now you've created the demand on Kickstarter, maybe on social media. So then, you start a Shopify site. You start a Walmart.com. You start Amazon.com. Now, all of a sudden, there's people searching for blender bottle with espresso maker. And so then you can get the sale. So absolutely, if you have something newer, I love websites such as Kickstarter or Indiegogo, etc.
Kickstarter is a good way if you have something that a product that's like really innovative and tech focused, something like really cool that just really stands out. It's not really a great platform to launch for just kind of more of your everyday products. And one thing that they won't tell you about Kickstarter is you are actually the one responsible for generating a lot of your sales. So you actually have to do your own marketing, and it's only if your product is starting to take off will Kickstarter kind of hop in and help you market your product further. So that's kind of one of the common misconceptions of Kickstarter. You have to do a lot of your own legwork.
Crowdfunding and Kickstarter is something that I have hands-on experience with. You can effectively finance your first round of inventory as an e-commerce seller through Kickstarter on a few conditions. Okay, nothing's free. All right, a few conditions. It needs to be new and novel. So you should have some sort of IP that the market's just never seen before. If you do a regular private label product without any sort of differentiation, physical design, if you have no claim to the IP, it's not really Kickstarter ready. It's certainly Amazon FBA and sort of maybe Facebook funnel Shopify ready, but that's not a Kickstarter product as it's not novel and unique in its own way. So then what you can do is basically find your people on any of these crowdfunding platforms. There are active communities of shoppers who are searching for projects that they just want to back on an emotional level. They want to be part of something really interesting. So if you have a good brand story, you have a good brand identity that speaks to a certain psychographic, launching on a crowdfunding platform can be a great way to find your people, finance the first round of inventory. They'll forgive you if it's not perfect, and go from there. So I've done that several times. This was a few years ago, and it's a good way to get that initial kickstart.
Some of my friends try to promote their product via StartNext. StartNext is something like I don't know if it's known, but it's the same like Kickstarter with an social background, StartNext, and they start a crowdfunding campaign to promote their chocolate bar, and it's a vegan chocolate bar, and they starting to create some crazy videos and explaining the product in this video, and this was kind of weird, but I think they get a lot of attention with these crazy videos, and also with these crowdfunding campaign, they can collect some money in front of creating this product. So that's a good idea, I think. If you're an outgoing person, try to make some crazy videos, or if you're a video creator, it's a good idea to make some videos and put them out on social media channels in hope they will get viral, something like that.
Kickstarter, my apparel items, I'm selling dresses, they're not suitable. It would have to be a gadget of some sort, I think, or something that is interesting to watch when presented in a video. Actually, a lot of Kickstarter audience are men. So I think it's... there's a lot of women who are supporting Kickstarter, but they have that feeling a little bit like Reddit has, like a community on its own, like a tight community. And the Kickstarter is the same. So if you have some gadget that, like a wide audience would enjoy, not very specific niche, then I think it could be successful. So it has to be widely applicable product of some kind.
I think it is a great method in order to launch new products that you're introducing to potentially the market. There's a couple of things with Kickstarter to keep in mind, and that is it doesn't promote, don't rely on the platform to promote it for you. You've got to heavily promote it outside. It's kind of like, it's the same kind of concept as when we work with authors in the Amazon space. They just think it's like, oh, well, I'll just put it on Amazon and Amazon will sell it for me. No, you've got to be able to have your own marketing push to a product. You can't just rely on a single platform, for instance, or a single method in order to do all the marketing or the advertising for you. You have to bring in your own traffic. You have to bring in your own marketing methods in order to get the energy in there, to get the people, the eyeballs onto that product and build some excitement. Otherwise, it's not going to reach whatever goals that you're hoping to get.
We launched, my team and I launched a string of very successful Kickstarters, one of which, though, was a Kickstarter launch which was for basically a rechargeable power station, like a battery, right? And when you do hardware like that, we didn't take the time to, I guess, build in as many unique features as we should have, and it was too close to other things in market, which is not the spirit of Kickstarter. The spirit of Kickstarter is really build something from scratch, completely new, and drive innovation to the marketplace, and you therefore and get backers on board there. So I think, it was just too close to other market alternatives, didn't stand out as much as it should have. And that's just a case. I think the failure point there is just being aware of who you're selling to, because on Facebook, of course, totally fine, right? On Amazon, totally fine. A Kickstarter audience demands innovation, so that's different, right? Or even, if you're doing top of funnel marketing promotion stuff, a Reddit audience needs something else, right, than a Facebook group does. So I suppose just understanding the psychology of the buyers is important.